gosh. But yeah, today, if you guys don't remember, which you should, today is Monday Manhwa. The memes have been so good. They have been. They have been. But if you guys can't remember, today is Monday Manhwa, where we actually go into the Manhwa for the Monday. Manhwa for the Monday. But no, today we're going to talk about Monday Manhwa. So, I have a little playlist over here. There we go. So, we have a lot to choose from. So, I'm really excited because I did find a lot of good ones coming up. Like, there's a lot of good ones. This is the one we saw last time with the Genius Doctor. But I found a few more that were very, very interesting. I mean, you don't gotta accept the offer. No, definitely. I mean, you're right about that saying. And there's a reason why I say that, though. Because aside from Monday Manhwa, I'll tell you guys at the end of, like, after we watch that Manhwa episode, I'll definitely tell you what happened. Because I would love to hear your perspective on it. Like, it was a really weird experience, and the way that they lied about certain things made me not secure about having the job, honestly. So, give me weird how? I just told you I can wait till the end if you can wait. I'm not explaining it now. Listening is fundamental, say it. I will tell you later. This man. Oh, my cheese. He's like, how though? Tell me now. I will remind you. Don't worry. I will remind you guys. I'll do it after the video. I did want to watch two because see, these are short. I did want to look at these two first or this one because they're really short actually. But let's see. There was one that's called She Tamed a Killer Villain and Wanted to Make Him Nice, but he didn't agree. And there's another one saying she was a makeup artist, but for a business deal, she married a prince. And I listened. It was just a question reflex. I know. It's okay. I promise I'll talk about it after stream. Like, not after stream. I'll talk about it after the Monday Manhwa take. So don't worry. She has to save her father from her mother's death. What? Oh, that's 2 hours long. I ain't got the patience. Cheater was too strong and deliberately was reborn 1,000 years, but everyone else laughs at him. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I want to... Do you guys want to look at that one? Do you guys want to... Cheater was too strong, and he was deliberately reborn after 1,000 years, but everyone laughs at him. What happened? Why is everyone laughing at him? I don't get that. She was a cute rabbit. Sent to... The title definitely... It really do. They did a good job on making... There was another one I was going to watch today, but it's short. It's called... The one at the top. Mistreated chubby boy wakes up as a beauty and revenge. I don't think that English checks out, bro. I don't think the English checks out. Huh? I know. I don't. You know what? Let's watch that one first. It's only 30 minutes long. Mistreated. Oh, hold on. Mistreated chubby boy wakes up as a beauty and revenge. I guess we looking at that one today. Don't worry, it's 30 minutes.
Jiro was an...
Let me see, Oh, wait, no, this is an anime. Oh, my bad, hold up. We'll look at that another time, hold on. Nah. Okay, hold on. Let's see. I think we'll go to The Cheater Was Too Strong. We'll do that one, hold on. We'll do that one.
Prologue. The actions are performed in the...
Wait. Okay. Give me a sec. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know either, bro. I guess we're winging it. Oh, shit. I forgot, chat. I forgot to tell people about Monday Manhwa. Because, oh, dude, I totally forgot. I gotta post it on Twitter. Because if I don't, people will be like, no, I'm missing it. Give me a sec. Hold on, chat. Oh, my back hurts. Where is it? Is it in here? It should be. There it is. I can't spell Manhwa, bro. I spelled it without an N. What is happening? I think I have a problem, chat. Oi, good up. Oi, internet, fuck off. Okay. Oh my god, it's fucking with me, bro. Suck a dick. Oh my bitch, suck a dick. Oh my god, bro. Why is it tripping? I'm sorry. Let me just say this. My computer was tripping so hard just before stream. Like, it literally was like, I don't know if I want to work. I'm like, you better. You better. And then it wouldn't let my keyboard work. And I was like, bro, we ain't doing this today. And then it did that to the mouse. And so I had to restart. Make sure everything's up to date before I stream today. Because, I don't know. Maybe it's just tired of me being on it, you know. But too flippin' bad. I don't use it too often before then, but yeah. There we go. There we go. Yippee yippee. Yippee. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't either, bro. I don't either. But let's see. Can you guys hear it?
Prologue. The actions are performed in the
Okay,
Goyen
sounds like it's
Multidisciplinary Hospital in the operating room.
Oh, wait. I gotta put the subtitles because chat, the AI be tripping and we be like, what word did they say?
Prologue. The actions are performed in the Goyen Multidisciplinary...
Oh God, I forgot this shit don't show right. Okay, hold on, chat. Hold on, please don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Oh, you don't need to see that. Oh, thank God. Y'all almost saw my face. Oh my Lord. That would have been terrifying. Let me minimize myself. Not again. I know. Look, y'all don't get to see my IRL face until I get like an SS subathon goal, okay? That's what we'll do. We know what your face looks like. Yeah, but have you seen me do an IRL stream in a long time? Yeah, but that's besides the point. I'm just saying. Imagine. Let me see. Hold on. I need to close this curtain. Hold on. I'm reaching. Oh, my legs. Ugh. No, I'm just saying. Shut up. I haven't seen your IRL stream before. Yeah, it'll be a subathon redeem. It'll be a subathon redeem. Having an IRL stream, which can be anything. It's not just like one inclusive idea, honestly. So just look out for that in the future. Like when I have a subathon and it's a subathon goal. Subathon. Oh man, I gotta pee, but I'll hold it. Let's see. Alright, let's start.
Prologue. The actions are performed in the Goyen Multidisciplinary Hospital in the operating room. A tall man, carefully watching his unconscious patient, cursed under his breath. Memories instantly surfaced before the doctor's eyes. He remembers his 4th year gatherings with classmates. One of his friends, Cho Hee-jin, loses an argument and is forced to go to the store alone at night on the way.
Why do you call him that? It's... okay.
To the store. He thinks about how he dreams of getting a specialty as soon as possible
Cho
and getting rid of the title
Choi.
of errand boy.
Wow.
Having made all his purchases, he slowly crosses the road when suddenly a huge truck rushes towards him. He froze from shock, blinded by the light from the headlights, and at the same moment he finds himself unconscious on the asphalt. Returning to reality, the doctor does not restrain his emotions, bitterly letting out tears in front of the unconscious patient. He says goodbye to his old friend and tells him the last words. Med entered the ward. Sisters, the doctor steadfastly gave them instructions and once again saying goodbye to the patient, left the ward. One snowy day, Young-hee-jin, a fourth-year clinical residency student, the day before receiving his specialist license, met the end of his short life. Ooh. Chapter 1. Young-hee-jin walks through a long tunnel straight to the light. He was attacked by voices in his head, which constantly told him about his insignificance, mediocrity. He knelt.
So he was the doctor that was working somewhere and he got truck-hooned? Wow, okay.
Down exhausted, thought that his life was meaningless.
Okay.
He was tired of living in suffering and humiliation.
Okay.
He decided that he would never become a successful doctor. Aww. Memories of his patient, whose life he saved, pop up before Young-hee-jin's eyes. The desire to live awoke in him again. He wanted to help people again. Gathering his courage, he got to his feet and continued walking straight towards the light in the tunnel, towards his dream. Young-hee-jin finds himself underwater and hears someone's voice.
Why does his background look like Genshin? I'm sure he's underwater, alright. He's just in a Genshin universe. I'm just saying.
Diligently tries to wake up, but
Bro's intrusive thoughts are fighting him. I'm telling you. They really are. I mean... that is not a good place, you know. Yeah, which wolf is he feeding?
It is very difficult for him. When he wakes up, he does not immediately realize that he is in the ward. The last thing he remembered was a collision with a car. He gets out of bed and sees someone else's name on the patient's card. He decides that he has been confused with another person, and immediately decides to report this error when he suddenly stops by the mirror. He looks at his reflection with horror and cannot accept what he has seen. A completely different person is standing in front of him. He is aware that he is in someone else's body. The shocked Young-hee-jin is frantically trying to figure out what happened to him. Who is this person in whose body he is now? Suddenly fragments from his life flashed through his mind, from childhood, from school. He remembered how he got to the hospital with a heart attack, how he had an operation. Young-hee-jin realized that these memories did not belong to him, but to Choi Gi-suk, who had his heart transplanted. He could not understand how he remained alive. Because his body no longer existed, his mind should not have survived in the body of another person. Young-hee-jin heard the voice of his former patient again. He realized that there was a reason for his rebirth. He always dreamed of becoming a successful doctor.
Can you imagine, like, your heart being donated into, like, your crush's body or, like, your worst enemy's body? And you'd have to remember that shit? Oh, my... And then you have to live in that? Oh, I'd rather kill myself again. Oh my gosh. That time I got hit by a door dasher and woke up and it woke body. I'm telling you. Yikes. Oh my gosh, bro.
Achieved success, even after he became the best in clinical residency. He did not receive recognition, only stupid ridicule in his address. He only endured. He tried like no one else, but in the end he died without getting the specialty he dreamed about so much. He realized that this was his chance to start his life from scratch again, without making the same mistakes. He decided that he would repay the use of Choi Gi-suk's body by becoming a better heart surgeon. Honey came into the room. Sister, Young-hee-jin politely asked her to check her well-being. He was surprised at his politeness. He used to be cold-blooded with everyone. He realized that rebirth in someone else's body changes even his character. While the nurse was conducting the examination, a sign appeared in front of Young-hee-jin's eye.
How do you be in someone else's body then all of a sudden you different? If you the same person, why is your personality different? Does that even make sense? I don't know. You guys tell me.
Which described the status of the doctor, his vital signs, abilities, and skills. He couldn't believe his eyes. Did he have the ability to see through people? To check his visions, he went to the mirror, which immediately displayed his own status. Chapter 2. Young-hee-jin spent a long time trying to figure out what kind of strange pop-ups he was seeing. He couldn't believe that all this was real, that all this was happening to him. He thought he was going crazy, or else it was all just a terrible dream. It was hard for him to accept that he was reborn in someone else's body, that he saw strange signs, like in video games. Only in reality, he believed that all this was madness. After much thought, the young man began to study the status window of Choi Gi-suk. He drew attention to the passive skill, which, apparently, contributed to the appearance of pop-up windows with statuses. Young-hee-jin finally came to terms with all the oddities of his new life and tried to get used to them. He began to study in detail the status window of Choi Kai-seok, seeing his position. He was
Everyone is stealing from Solo Leveling. The manhwa status window, I'm telling you. I was like, I literally had to pause. I'm like, what is the manhwa status window? Are you talking about a game reference window? Like, and then I thought about it. I'm like, is everyone literally copying off of fucking Solo Leveling? Come on now. Y'all need to get creative. Okay. And, okay, to answer that saying, no, you should not in this world be able to be like, oh, I'm somehow nice when I was a dick before. Bitch, you just became nicer. You can still be a dick if you have control over the body, but, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, this doesn't make sense. How are you still in the body as someone else, but you can't control the body? Like, the personality, how you act. You're literally just like a Yugi instead of a body. Like, but even Yugi had a way of, you see what I'm saying? Like, even Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! The other Yugi, which was the Yugi from the past, still can control what he says and does inside of another body of Yugi. You see what I'm saying? Like, this don't make any fucking sense.
surprised. He could not understand how such an inexperienced young man who had just passed the exam could be in clinical residency. Young Hee-jin came to the conclusion that despite being in someone else's body, his mind and abilities remained with him. Suddenly, the young man drew attention to an unusual regime in the status, with which it was possible to change the regime of the attending physician to the patient. His curiosity took hold of him, and without thinking twice, he chooses the mode change function. All the information about his health and his condition pops up in front of him. He was surprised that even the symptoms and localization of the disease were shown there.
Okay, Chad, I'm so sorry I keep pausing. There's a reason why I'm so tired of stuff like this. It's because this is probably the second to third manhwa that keeps copying off of the idea of solo leveling or something even relatively close. Because I've seen certain manhwa that maybe have gotten close to what this is before solo leveling came out. So it's weird that you now all of a sudden see something that looks exactly around the same time, very, very similar. And it's just, I'm just shaking my head, and I'm like, I don't care who wrote this, but it's bullshit. I'm sorry.
The young man thinks that this ability is much better than he thought. The information he can learn with this ability is enough for him to establish the approximate treatment of patients. He firmly believes that this is his chance to become the best heart surgeon in Choi Gi-seok's body. Young Hee-jin finally gets rid of the numerous ridicule and mockery in his address. He can find a new life. Young Hee-jin is flipping through the news feeds on his laptop, carefully trying to see something in the photos. He comes to the conclusion that pop-up windows with statuses on photos do not appear. He can see a person's condition only in person. The young man stared in surprise at the news tab, which talked about a successful heart transplant. The nurse who suddenly entered the ward scared Young Hee-jin. She needed to urgently take blood from him for tests. The state of honey. The sister strained the young man. It seemed to him that she was very confused and clumsy. Young Hee-jin decided to check her condition through the status window. He saw that the girl was very upset. This is due to the fact that the older honey. The sister constantly reproaches and shouts at the girl. The condition of the nurse has deteriorated significantly. Self-confidence and ability to handle patients have decreased. A senior nurse suddenly burst into the ward with screams. She loudly began to reproach the girl that she was working very slowly and poorly. Lee Mai felt humiliated and guilty, tried to fix the situation in every possible way. Young Hee-jin recalled his student years. This situation is very similar to his past life. The young man also endured eternal reproaches and ridicule, bullying from colleagues. No one saw potential in him. They said that doctors like him would only ruin people. He remembered that in such difficult moments there was no person who could comfort him, so he decided to support the nurse, calm her down so that she would not feel so bad. He offered to take the blood himself as she was unwell.
I'm not saying it's solo leveling, but it's like you're copying off of solo leveling without being original. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is weird. You see what I'm saying? Uno grinding, bro, it's just like you're literally playing a video game of an RPG, but you got to restart as someone else. But you only see a status window when you look at a person. So is this like a story enriched, like, what is it? The visual novels? Because that's what this is like. But the story window, that's why I'm bringing up solo leveling. Why all of a sudden is Manhwa now all talking about, oh, he sees a window when he wakes up after being isekai'd or being rejuvenated? Y'all are taking this way too seriously with some of these contexts. I get it, some topics and genres and things are like popularized, but don't give it excuses. This is just, I'm like, come on, guys. This is like the 5th one I've seen.
Well, the girl was very grateful to the guy
It's a
for
huge
understanding
trope.
and support.
My
Taking
ass,
the tests,
bro.
she left the
Huge trope, my ass, bro. It's literally, it's a trope that just is trendy. It's a trendy trope, okay? There's a lot of tropes that are trendy, like through different times of anime, games, video games, or like even series or things that happen at cons. There's a lot of trends. It's like a fad. Because like all of a sudden now everyone's into isekais and remaking over villainous is becoming good. And you guys have seen it all over Monday Manhwa. The reason why I do Monday Manhwa is so that you can find a manhwa that you like or a manga that you like without feeling like, oh, there's so many, I don't know where to start from. So I'm going to call it like it is. This is a fucking trendy fad that keeps happening. And I'm going to say it's like Solo Leveling because that's the only one that came out doing its own shit like this in this kind of manner where you're isekai, then all of a sudden everything's like a video game when you wake up, and if you don't apply to the rules, you get screwed over. It is no different. He's just a doctor. That's literally the only thing I'm seeing. And then he wakes up in a hospital. How is that any different from Solo Leveling? I'm just saying.
award with a smile. Young Hee-jin sadly reflected that if he had once been given such support in his life, he would not feel insignificant. He would be a different person. Suddenly, there is a notification in the status, which says about the change of skill level. After examining the new skills in the message, the young man came to the conclusion that skills can be improved with the help of medical practice. Self-medication also contributes to this. He decided that when he became an intern after discharge, his skills would improve. Suddenly, a doctor comes into the room. Jeong Hee-jin examines him in surprise and recognizes him as his old friend, Tae-shik Sunbi. He was the only person who appreciated the guy's abilities. He was very cold-blooded, but when Young Hee-jin faced the harsh reality, his parents helped him a lot, gave him strength. Tae-shik Sunbi asks about the young man's well-being. He tells him that he feels very well and can be discharged even now. Young Hee-jin begins to examine the status of a doctor. He admires his skills and abilities. The only thing in which he surpasses Sunbi is the ability to diagnose, thanks to the skill of the Hippocratic Eye, which gives the guy the opportunity to see pop-ups with statuses.
Black Summoner is one of them.
Choi
I feel that,
body,
dude.
asks the doctor what the person who
Isekai
gave him his heart was
manga
like. Sunbi answers him
well,
that he was a
some
fool
status
and knew
windows.
nothing
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm
patience
saying,
and medicine.
like-
He was the most outstanding of all doctors.
And I'm not saying you can't have similar things with tropes, but like when you start copying off of a very popularized like show and you try to make it your own, like where you have like, oh, but it's the same, but it's like this. It's like, bro, you can have inspiration and not copy and paste. You see what I'm saying? Like, because I know, like I said, before Solo Leveling came out, there were some that did act like a video game, like not just Dot Hack or the Hack series. There were some that were like a video game, but they still made it to where it was part of the series of its own. But this here, I'm like, come on, guys. Come on, guys. You know, come on.
His biggest problem was that his talent did not match his
Not
efforts.
you guys,
he put
but,
too
like,
many emotions
the
into
manga
patience.
or
He was a
manhwa
C-level
artist
intern, which is
and
considered an
writer,
incapable
creator.
doctor, for which he was constantly scolded and reproached. Despite this, he studied and honed his skills every day. If he had more time, he would have become a more outstanding doctor than himself. Sunbi says that Young Hee-jin never gave up and always aspired to his goal. The doctor asks the young man where he will enroll in the future. He proudly replies that he will go to a cardiac surgeon. After all, thanks to this doctor, he has found a new life. He wants to follow in his footsteps and also give people life. He plans to become the best specialist in cardiac surgery. The doctor wished him good luck and left the ward. Young Hee-jin promised his Sunbi that he would definitely cope, but he did not say it out loud. Suddenly, a new notification appears in the status, where it is written about a new reward. He received another skill, an icy heart, insubordination to emotions, cold-blooded execution of orders. Chapter 3. The action takes place in the hospital at Jinsen University.
Wait, what? So he received a heart, like a level up to be like cold-blooded? Is that what happened? Hold on, I'm sorry. That confused the hell out of me.
Where it is written about a new reward. He received another skill, an icy heart, insubordination to emotions, cold-blooded execution of orders. Chapter 3. The action...
Okay, so he got another, like, skill, basically. Okay. Broke-ass sociopath buff. Oh, no, I remember Death March. And I remember Rhapsody. There was another one that came out that was, like, a family online gamer. I think that was right before Solo Leveling, though. But see, with that one... they made it a part of the story. It wasn't just something that was influenced by something else entirely. And maybe for some people, they might feel this way about watching this one, like, oh, well, it is part of the story, Matcha. This is how it is. It's not copying. It's just how it is, bro. Everything I'm seeing here is just a copy and paste. It's literally there's nothing unique about this story so far. The one I'm reading right now with you guys. No offense, nothing unique is standing out besides him being a Doctor Reborn. And everything is copying off a very popularized trope. There's nothing going on that's special. I'm sorry, it's boring as fuck so far.
Takes place in the hospital at Jinsen
Bro, I
University.
accidentally got
Young
emotional
Hee-jin was
damage
lying in his
bluff.
room, leisurely eating chocolate and thinking about the recently acquired ice heart skill that T-Shik Sunbi had.
Did they not do this in solo leveling? Did they not do this in solo leveling? Where he was trying to figure this shit out. I'm telling you, T for T. I'm just saying.
He could not figure out how it appeared to him. Unexpectedly, he was distracted from his thoughts by two guys. These are Jang Ka-
Ugh, it's like a reject Bakugo. What the fuck is that? And who are you? Who made your hair like that, child? Clean your glasses. You have no eyeballs. Oh my gosh.
Young and Kwon Jun-ho. They were roommates, whom he met after he was transferred from the intensive care unit to the general ward. Thanks to Choi Gi-seok's real character, he was able to get close to them easily.
Wait a minute. Is that his mouth? What the fuck is that? What is in his mouth, bro? What is in his mouth? I've never seen... Is that like a pig or a Kirby? What is that? What is that? At least his makes sense. It looks like Pocky or Pepero. But like, this... I think he's eating some... I thought it was his mouth with like the teeth. And I was like, what? But like... I don't know what that is. That looks weird. Like, these food in their hand make more sense than what... Like, even him is looking at his friend like, what are you eating? What are you eating?
He shared snacks with the guys, for which they were overjoyed. He also decided to share the food with another roommate, Moon Hyun, but he refused. Young Hee-jin thought that he was not feeling well.
I've never seen a peach look that pink. That's a fucking lie, bro. That literally looked like the inside of someone's mouth. That is not a peach. That looks weird. That's a Pokeball. That's a freaking Jigglypuff. I don't know. That just looks weird. At least the candy bars look like actual off-brand, great value candy bars.
Hyun and offered to taste the snack and talk to him about what was bothering him. The young man asked Hyun if he was worried about the fact that he could not perform in the musical due to illness, and that his role was taken by someone else. Moon Hyun was visibly angry, but did not show that he was nervous. Young Hee-jin asked him if he was worried about the operation, to which Hyun began to deny in fright. The young man realized that he was really worried and decided to support him. He told him that he had survived the operation himself, and that there was absolutely nothing to worry about. The best cardiac surgeons work here. He tells him that there were very few accidents, that he worries in vain. After listening to Young Hee-jin, Hyun calmed down, and decided that he really had nothing to worry about. A new notification appears in the window. A new support skill is received. The young man decides to accept this skill, and Moon Hyun is getting much better from the words of support. He is very grateful to Choi Gi-seok for his help, because his condition has improved and he no longer feels anxious. Young Hee-jin could not get used to the fact that his body acts by itself. He did not realize how he was able to comfort his neighbor so quickly and improve his morale. He believed that this was also the influence of Choi Gi-seok. The young man decided to check the status window.
It still looks weird as fuck, bro. That does not look like a dumpling. I've never seen it have a white dot on it like that. That shit is a Pokeball. It's a damn Pokemon. Fuck that. That is not food. That is like a mouse pad or something. It's a mouse, like a digital mouse. That's weird. It does not look normal at all. I'm not... The influence of that... Yeah, like, okay.
Again. And realized that the skills can be completely different, which means that not everything can be used exclusively in medicine. He noticed a nurse walking by. She was very tired and drooping again. The guy decided to test a new skill on her. He approached the girl, smiled brightly with an uncharacteristic smile, and greeted her. The young man felt that some actions were happening as if not by his will. It was all because of the activation of his new skill.
Okay. I was just going to say a compliment about this, but now I don't know if I want to. So... Not only in this world, you literally can't control your personality to other people, which doesn't make sense to me, because you're isekai in a body that you're allowed to maintain, but now your skills that you obtain change your reactions. Are you really isekai at that point, or are you just like a roommate in the body? Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense, guys? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not adding up. Like, when you're born in a body, you have control. But he's being isekai'd into a body he has no control of. So you're just our roommate, honey. You just vacate there. That's... Okay. I'm just saying.
The actions of the young man made the girl laugh. She was surprised by such behavior from Choi Gi-sok, but it amused her very much. A notification of crushing support appeared in the status window. Apparently because of this the guy behaves so brightly and kindly. There was also information that the girl's immunity, resistance and regeneration increased. The nurse asked Young Hee-jin why he needed her, but he did not take any action, because the girl's mood had already improved from the guy's behavior. He collapsed to his knees exhausted and began to reflect on what had happened. He did not immediately manage to control the new skill because he gave the girl excessive support, which is completely unusual for him.
Okay.
However, now he will be more sensitive with the use of this skill, because now he knows a lot more about it. The skill level can increase even without medical practice.
Oh, chat. Okay, there's a video I want to watch with you after this. It is so good. I want to watch it with you guys after. It's not like a scary video, but it's an interesting like fact video that I wanted to watch with you guys. Do you have time for that today? Do you think you might have time for that? Like, it looks really interesting. I saw it the other day and I thought of you guys. I was like, oh my gosh, chat would love this. Or they would find it interesting or perplexing. Like, in a way, like you're watching, like, how did that happen? I wanted to watch that with you today, if we have time.
Gi-seok was packing his things for discharge when suddenly a neighbor on the ward began to complain loudly that he had been in the hospital for a long time and was not being discharged, although he feels well after the operation. However, Jong Hee-jin last night heard a neighbor muttering about how his chest hurts, and at the same time did not tell the doctor about it on his morning rounds. What the young man was very unhappy about, because lying to the doctor about his own condition. His neighbor makes it worse only for himself. Young Hee-jin saw the condition of his neighbor thanks to his Hippocratic eye skill, with which he sees the condition of people. Suddenly, a girl comes into the ward, who turns out to be the daughter of one of the neighbors in the ward. Moon Yi-hyun, the father of this girl, introduces her to his roommates in the ward, and anxiously asks her if she ate today. The girl indifferently and rudely responds to her father. Also, she refused his request to buy him juice. The man was clearly upset by this behavior of his daughter, did not even hide his emotions, which is why the girl still decided to fulfill her father's request. Young Hee-jin is worried about his neighbor, because he is so upset for the first time. Young Hee-jin decides to check his weight, and is surprised that he has recovered. But suddenly the nurse who entered calms the young man. She believes that after the operation the young man has changed a lot for the better. Young Hee-jin was heading back to the ward when he suddenly met his neighbor's daughter on the way. He decided to talk to her, at the same time to see her status and condition. The girl didn't really want to make contact with him. She didn't want an outsider to get into their family affairs. The young man saw in the status that the girl has a transitional age, and most likely, her behavior is connected with this. The guy
So she just treats her daddy like shit in front of people. You know, my daddy would have beat my ass so quickly. He'd be like, oh, so you just not gonna listen to me? Like, how do people be raising their kids? Hello? I'm sorry.
I decided to explain to the girl that her words and actions can sometimes hurt her father very much. But she did not want to listen to any advice from an outsider, and she just ran away from further conversation. Young Hee-jin was worried, because even with his skills, he could not find a common language with the teenager. He hoped that he had not offended the girl much with his words. The girl returned to her father's room.
Like, if it's not like I actually want to listen to you, Dad, or it's not like I love you or whatever. And it's just like, he's like, oh, you care. What is with this tsundere? People, okay. I think she's not a tsundere. I just think she has problems. Don't treat your parents like shit in front of others. Give them the respect.
Room and handed him an open bottle of juice, from which the man was incredibly happy, because his daughter not only left school to visit him, but also treats him with care. Looking at his happy neighbor, a loving father, the young man succumbed to unpleasant memories. He reflected that if he had loving parents, he would also be a different person. He was distracted from his thoughts by a woman who suddenly appeared behind him. It was Choi Gi-sok's mother. He was a little confused, because he did not immediately understand how to address her, because, in fact, his parents appeared only when he woke up in Choi Gi-sok's body. They visited him in the hospital, worried about his health, rejoiced when he recovered. Young Hee-jin was embarrassed. He didn't even know how to talk to them. Choi Jae-seok's parents were the first to ever cry for him, not counting the orphanage teacher. Having finally collected all his belongings, the young man was going to be discharged, saying goodbye to his neighbors. He left the hospital, and promised himself that he would return there one day, but not as a patient, but as a doctor. Chapter 4. Young Hee-jin gets into Choi Gi-seok's house, now in his own house. For him, everything seems very unusual and unfamiliar. Choi Kai-seok's parents are very kind and nice to him, but he is still very uncomfortable to communicate with them. The guy's attention was attracted by a picture on the wall, which depicts the whole family. He noticed that Choi Gi-seok has a younger brother. Just the thought of how awkward it would be for him to communicate with him made Young Hee-jin uneasy. A dog, Choi Gi-seok's pet, sneaked up.
Why'd I do the dog like this? They drew it so well. This is probably the best looking dog I've seen in a while.
Up to the guy. The guy tried to find a common language with the animal, but he couldn't do it right away. The young man decided to check whether the status windows on the animal would work, and a notification about the animal's condition immediately flashed in front of him. Young Hee-jin realized that in this way, he could become a successful and honorable doctor in all spheres. Young Hee-jin receives a notification on his phone. Their group's general chat was written that the results of the state exam had arrived. The young man was very worried, because he had no idea how Choi Gi-seok passed the exam. But he quickly calmed down, hoping that he carefully prepared for them. The fellow students of the guy agreed to meet in the evening in a cafe, so, without thinking twice, he packed up and went.
Not cafe. Cafe.
He arrived at the
Gotta
cafe
add more
before everyone
accent to
else.
it.
Later, two classmates came up and began discussing the exam results.
Cafe.
They noticed that Choi Gi-seok was behaving quite strangely. The leader of the group, Cho Tae-ho, suggested that this was due to his recent operation. Young Hee-jin realized that these guys were not true friends of Choi Gi-seok. They were indifferent to him. Therefore, he decided to isolate these people from himself, otherwise he would also remain in the shadows in the future.
Do you think... Okay, so he got isekai'd into a body of this kid, and he wants to become a doctor through this body, right? And even though he can't control his actions because he's isekai'd in this world, according to the manhwa story they gave us, and he can't control what he says because his skills determine that, which that still confuses me. Because when you have to choose that skill, like, you see what I'm saying? But that's besides the point. So now it seems like he was bullied, and now he's like, oh, these aren't my real friends, they're bullies. So I wonder if he's going to quote unquote choose his life. You know what I mean? Like, is his skills gonna choose this again?
Leader of the group, an
Roll for dexterity, my friend. Roll for dexterity.
arrogant guy, boasted about his father's property and plans to open his hospital, where he would take his classmates to work, including Choi Gi-seok. The young man definitely did not like the idea of a classmate, but he did not dare to say anything against it yet. Choi Gi-seok left with Cho Tae-ho to talk alone during dinner. Ignoring the condition of his friend, he brazenly smoked in front of him, which Choi Gi-seok did not like. He decided to express his dissatisfaction. The leader of the group was surprised by the behavior of the guy, because earlier he did not dare to say even a word to reproach him. He liked the sudden courage of his friend. Unexpectedly, they were joined by two girls who also studied with them in the same course. One of them was Cho Tae-ho's girlfriend, and the other, Call Song HWA, clearly showed interest in Choi Gi-seok.
What?
This did not go
What
unnoticed.
did they call her? Cho-T-W-A. Hold on, what? What'd they call her?
Unexpectedly, they were joined by two girls who also studied with them in the same course. One of them was Cho Tae-ho's girlfriend, and
Cho Tae-ho. Cho Tae-ho, guys. That's his name, Cho Tae-ho. Not even Choi...
the other, Call Song HWA.
And the other ones call her Song HWA. They can't say Sanghua. AI said, we're not messing up today.
Clearly showed interest in Choi Gi-seok, and this did not go unnoticed by the guy. He tried to communicate with her as politely as possible. After the girls went to the institution, the leader of the group stopped the guy to remind him that Call Song HWA has not been indifferent to him for a long time.
Why do they keep saying that? They just said call song HWA. Like, why do they keep saying call song HWA? Please just call her Sanghua, please.
And one of the boys' classmates also likes her. After the conversation, the guys headed back to the institution. On the way back, Young Hee-jin noticed a man lying near the trash cans. He immediately realized that he needed an ambulance. He couldn't just leave a person to die. He needed urgent help. Chapter 5. Choi Gi-seok told Cho Tae-ho about what he saw, to which he menacingly replied that it was none of his business, and it was better for them to continue the evening without incident. The guy was very angry at the behavior of his friend. He did not understand how a future doctor could be so cruel and indifferent to people in need of urgent medical care. Young
He said,
Hee-jin
"Fuck
firmly
you,
decided
bitch.
for himself that he
I'ma
no longer
help
wanted
him.
to communicate
I'm a
with such a
doctor."
person. Rudely answering his friend, he began to examine the patient lying unconscious on the asphalt. Applying his abilities, he saw the patient's condition, which did not comfort him. The
This is
prognosis for
literally
survival
like
was very
a
low.
game,
After that, he
literally.
decides to examine the man. Taking off his shirt, he stared in fright at the heart area. He realized that the victim had a tamponade of the heart. With tamponade of the heart, blood accumulates directly in the shell around the heart, the pericardium, which causes compression of its cavities, which prevents the normal operation of the organ. Having understood the reason for the tamponade, the young man realized that he needed to act urgently, because the ambulance would not have time to arrive on time. The guy decided to immediately rescue the victim. To begin with, he needed to remove the accumulated blood in the pericardium. Only a puncture could help him here. This is the extraction of fluid from the body by inserting a hollow thin needle into the body. Without thinking twice, he immediately ran into the pharmacy for a syringe, and began to carefully inject it into the patient. The guy was very worried, because there were risks of accidentally getting into the lungs, from which the man would immediately die. But there was no other way out. He decided to take a chance. After the introduction of the game into the patient, a notification about the successful puncture was displayed. Also, as a bonus, a short-term effect was applied, which temporarily increased the patient's endurance. In an instant, the situation worsened significantly. A warning sign appeared: the patient is in cardiac arrest. Choi Gi-seok understands that this was a consequence of a pericardial puncture. He urgently gives the patient artificial respiration and heart massage. Suddenly, Call Song HWA runs out to him. He asks her to find a defibrillator.
Her name is Cole Song HWA. Guys, she don't got a real name no more. She don't got a real name. Her name is Cole Song HWA. It's like YMCA. Her name is Cole Song HWA.
Later, the girl immediately runs to search and asks the guy to hold out a little longer, waiting for her. The girl returns with the device, and they are already working together to bring the patient back to life. At first, the attempts were unsuccessful. There was no pulse. The girl independently tried to bring the victim to his senses again, and suddenly the pulse returned. A notification about the successful first aid popped up. They managed to save the man. A new indicator, the soul connection, has been obtained. The soul connection is an indicator of the relationship with colleagues or patients. The first soul connection with Call Song HWA has been formed. In the case of medical practice with a girl, Choi Gi-seok receives acceleration and additional bonuses. The girl tells the guy that she has already informed the others about what happened and the ambulance is already on its way. The young man was surprised that the girl, despite her confusion, managed to pull herself together and resolve the situation. He realized that the girl turned out to be much more decent than he thought. This could not but please him. Upon the arrival of the ambulance, Choi Gi-seok told in detail about what happened and what methods he used to help the victim. The ambulance doctors were greatly surprised by their abilities. Choi Gi-seok decided to go to the hospital to transfer the pericardial fluid that he collected from the patient, so that the doctors would do an analysis and undertake further treatment. Upon arrival at the hospital, they were notified that the patient's condition had improved significantly thanks to their help. The doctor was delighted with the work they had done. Choi Gi-seok did not admit that they had just passed the exam and were not doctors yet, which made the girl very worried. After a while, the patient woke up and wanted to see those who actually saved their lives. The man thanked them for their help and concern. Choi Gi-seok saw his position in the patient's status. As it turned out, the victim was the head of the department at the Korean Folk Medicine Hospital. He was delighted with the skills and abilities of the doctor. He mastered his abilities perfectly. This greatly admired Choi Gi-seok. The young man went to the exit of the hospital together with Call Song HWA, offered to accompany her home, from which the girl was very embarrassed. The guy was slightly puzzled, because at a late time of the day he could not get home by taxi, so the girl kindly offered him to spend the night at her place. Chapter 6. While visiting the girl, they began to have dinner. The guy was...
Do you remember Call Song HWA? I mean, she looked good with her jacket. Hey, yo, them black sweater be sweatering.
Slightly embarrassed by the girl's hospitality. Suddenly her father called her, and she went off to talk. Choi Gi-seok knew that her father was an honorary lawyer. For this reason, the gang of Cho Tae-ho took her in, although she does not suit them at all. For the same reason, they communicated with Cho Gi-seok himself. Therefore, he considered it right to stop communicating with them at all. After the conversation, the girl gave the guy her father's business card so that he could turn to him for help at any time. The girl asked the...
Hey, and you got a business card too, on top of everything? Bruh, he gonna get the cookie, he gonna get the job, he gonna get the skills. He said, level up, bitch. I'm getting in and out of skills in the house, in my life, and in the bedroom.
Guy if he had told Cho Tae-ho about the incident, to which he replied that he no longer considered him his friend. When he showed him a man without consciousness, he offered to just give up on it, which greatly surprised and upset Choi Gi-seok. He could not understand how a future doctor could treat a victim like that. He was disappointed in this person as much as possible. The girl said that after their conversation, Cho Tae-ho was very annoyed, and she decided to check what happened between them. As a result, she provided great help in saving that man. Choi Gi-seok thanked the girl again, because if she hadn't arrived in time, he would have given up. The guy decided to help the girl with cleaning while she was looking for a change of clothes for him. Call Seong HWA was insanely glad that the guy agreed to spend the night with her.
They keep changing her name. Now it's Pol Song HWA. What is her name? What is her name?
Did not deny that she was interested in him as a man, tried in every way to please him, worried about any of her actions. Even because of her appearance, she decided she finally had a chance for something more than friendship. She noticed that the guy had changed a lot after the operation, as if he had become a different person. Their classmates also noticed this. The girl remembered Cho Tae-ho's conversation with his gang. After what happened on the street, he came back very annoyed, was greatly outraged by Choi Gi-seok's behavior. He didn't like the way the guy had changed. He hadn't even dared to look him in the eye before, and now he was telling him what to do. It flattered the dignity of the leader of the group. The girl was distracted from her memories by a young man. She immediately approached him. An argument ensued between them, which of them would sleep on the bed and which on the floor. They both came to the conclusion that it was easier for them to fall asleep together on the bed. The girl was very excited about how quickly their relationship was developing. Emotions overwhelmed her greatly. She was insanely happy about it. Before going to bed, Choi Kai-seok thanked the girl once again for trusting him, then wished her good night, and they
Why
both
did
fell
they spend the
asleep.
night?
Waking up from the bright light, the girl did not find a guy next to her, only a note on the pillow that he left her before leaving. It said that he would be happy to treat her to dinner. Returning home, Young Hee-jin wondered how much his life had changed. He shouldn't be here because he died in a plane crash.
His parents and he spent the night with her? Does that make sense? Well, you know, I mean, if I can get a cookie for free and some free food, I wouldn't object. If I get cookies and milk, that's fine. I don't have to go to the convenience store to get it.
And lives in the body of another person, even saved the life of a stranger. Only when he woke up, he was happy for a second chance, but he still wasn't used to being alive.
Okay.
He decided to visit the orphanage where he grew up. During his lifetime, he did not come here often. He came to this shelter as a volunteer. During his previous life, he often engaged in this activity. One of the foster carers of the orphanage recalled with a smile about Young Hee-jin, and she was very sad that they did not manage to say goodbye to them properly. The young man grew up without parental love. But there were people he could call his family. They were the educators of the orphanage in which he grew up, so even being in someone else's body, he still wanted to meet these people. The teacher recalled Hee-jin's childhood with trepidation. He was always strong in spirit, coped with difficulties alone. She remembered the case when he first got into a fight with the offenders. The guy himself remembered this case very well, and remembered how his teacher supported him then. It left.
Wait. Is he talking about his past life or his current life? Like, I'm trying to figure that out. I'm a little confused.
A strong imprint in his life. The woman was greatly moved by the memories, and the young man tried in every way to support the woman. Chapter 7. The woman kept saying that if Hee-jin had parents, his life would be completely different, less violent. The young man assured her that she was a real family for him. Although in Choi Gi-seok's body, he spoke from the heart what Hee-jin had to say. After talking to the teacher, he said about the work he was supposed to do as a volunteer. Quickly coping with the cleaning, he decided to visit the children who lived in the shelter in his previous life.
So he was talking to the orphanage about his previous life. And I don't know why he's talking to her about saying thank you so much, unless he's just talking for him, his past life's like friend, you know what I mean, like speaking on his behalf as a friend. But okay, I mean, so he's going back to the orphanage to do some chores. Okay.
He met a boy who lived in this orphanage. He strongly attracted the young man with his friendliness and kindness. He became like a younger brother to him. Having met the same guy, Hee-jin did not immediately recognize him. How much he had changed shocked the guy. The boy looked very sickly, so Hee-jin decided to check his health status, and saw that he had been suffering from a depressive disorder for a long time, and his condition was deteriorating significantly. The guy asked to postpone their conversation to another day, as he feels very hard. Hee-jin was very angry because he found out that the guy had recently gone to the hospital due to inflammation of the appendix, and he did not need treatment with plastic surgery. There was clearly something else. Arriving at the hospital, Hee-jin asked to see the entire medical history of his old friend in order to understand what happened to him and why the guy feels so bad now. He began to study in detail how Kim Jong-hyuk was treated. He found a certain detail that puzzled him. He saw that the patient was not transferred on time to the necessary treatment, but only after a while, which could aggravate the patient's condition. Hee-jin decides to talk about it with the attending physician John Hyuk. The man who performed the operation on the guy was reluctant to talk to Hee-jin. The same decided to look at the status of the doctor, and he was greatly surprised by his indicators, because they were much worse than Hee-jin himself, despite the fact that he was a student of residency. The doctor flatly refused to tell the guy about the diagnosis of his patient. His rude tone said that he did not want to get involved in this. After receiving the diagnosis of Kim Jong-hyuk, the guy began to study him carefully. In total, the guy underwent more than 7 operations, including the restoration of the abdominal wall. There was also additional in psychotherapy together.
Dude went through you had 7 surgeries, bro? Yikes. And an appendix is not an easy one. You think because it's common, it would be not as painful? That shit hurts. Ooh.
Together with plastic surgery after discharge. Without thinking twice, the young man came to the conclusion that John Heck was initially removed not the appendix, but the sigmoid colon. And after the divergence of the suture, perforation and infection began. The orphanage teacher initially told about this case, and thanks to her, Hee-jin found out about the incident and began to sort it out. He was terribly angry, because the doctors not only performed the operation in the wrong part of the body, but performed postoperative control very badly. During the operation, Kim Jong-hyuk was infected with an antibiotic-resistant bacterium, resulting in infection and sepsis. In addition to that, he developed necrotizing fasciitis. Hee-jin was furious, because the doctors not only allowed all this, but also arranged a demonstration exhibition of their achievements after transferring him to another department. John Heck was not killed by a disease, but by a hospital, which is why the poor guy is now in a depressed state. Hee-jin returned to the shelter again to tell the caregiver about what he had learned. The woman was grateful to the guy, because these terrible doctors, after all they had done, blamed the boy himself for this. who had survived such a difficult treatment. It wasn't at all difficult for Hee-jin to help the guy, because he was like a younger brother to him, felt only warm emotions for him. Also, he advised the woman to go to court. He is ready to take full responsibility on himself. Chapter 8. Hee-jin visited his old friend at the shelter again, brought him his favorite food. John Hyuk was very grateful to the care of a person he didn't know. He immediately remembered how Hee-jin treated him, was a little touched by his memories. After talking with John Hyuk, a new rebirth skill appeared, thanks to which he felt much better. Choi Gi-seok, after meeting the guy, immediately decides to go to the Gangkal hospital to finally recreate justice, and take revenge on the uneducated doctors who, due to their lack of education, ruined the boy's health. We will prepare all the dirt in advance as evidence of the doctor's guilt. The young man comes to him in the cabin. The man made it known from the doorway that he did not want to discuss the operation, which he carried out by mistake. Choi Gi-seok began to talk in detail about what mistakes the doctor made in the treatment of the child. That he removed his appendix not at all, but the sigmoid colon, which caused severe complications.
So he's talking to the doctor about the orphan that this doctor did surgery on, 7 different surgeries, including the appendix when it wasn't an appendix issue. It was something else in his body. And now I feel like he's calling him out on it. Well, I would have a recorder on me, I'm just saying.
The doctor obviously tensed and worried. He realized that his negligence did not go unnoticed, but he refused to admit it until the last moment. He tried to drive Gi-seok out of the office by shouting, not wanting to listen to his accusations further. When the young man accused the doctor of ruining the child's life because of his mistakes, he seriously began to panic and get angry. The doctor abruptly approached the guy, snatched the papers from his hands, and tore them in front of his nose. The enraged doctor began to shout at the young man, assuring him that he had no more evidence. However, Gi-seok was not so predictable. He had prepared copies of the documents in advance, expecting that the doctor could pull something like this. From the actions of the guy, the man clearly strained even more. Gi-seok indifferently and menacingly said that he would return to this hospital in 2 days to solve this case, and then left the doctor's office. After a while, the doctor realized that he was in big trouble, and he had no choice but to accept his guilt. The information reached the director of the Gangkal hospital, who called a doctor to him and menacingly reprimanded him for negligent work. The doctor admitted that he knew about his mistake, did not talk about it, which made the director even more angry.
Yikes.
He kicked the man out of his office with shouts and shame. Earlier, Choi Gi-seok found out that the director of the Ganpo hospital, where John Hyuk was transferred after surgery, and the director of the Gancheol hospital were old acquaintances since their student days. After talking with the would-be doctor, the hospital director decides to call his friend, who was in charge of the Ganpo hospital, and it turns out that Choi Gi-seok contacted both of them in order for them to take action in connection with the situation that happened. Both directors were extremely outraged by the behavior of the guy, because he even left a business card of the best lawyer in medical affairs as a threat. However, the men decided that the guy only intimidates them with this, and in fact he has no connections. In the court session, Gi-seok enters the building with the director of the shelter, who is the official representative of John Hyuk. They are greeted by a girl in a joyful mood and introduces herself as a lawyer from the Ganpo hospital. The young man did not share the girl's enthusiasm and her positive attitude, ignored her friendliness. The lawyer called the whole situation an ordinary misunderstanding, which caused a negative reaction from the young man and the director of the shelter. He assured the girl that the fault was the negligence of the doctors, and not an accident, which he is going to prove. A man who was the chief specialist of the surgery department at the Ganpo hospital intervened in their conversation, who unleashed an argument. The accused party, in its defense, argued that because of the patient's overweight, it was very easy to confuse the sigmoid colon.
So I love how they're like, they hire a joyful lawyer like, oh, I'm just coming here. You guys just made a mistake. Peace, love, and happiness. No, bitch. You knew what the fuck you were doing, and I don't like it whatsoever. Absolutely not. And then you got this other side doctor. Wow. Actually, there's a whole nother issue, guy. Bitch, stop lying. Y'all, this is literally so common in the real world, bro.
Colon with the appendix, in which case a terrible mistake occurred. However, Choi Gi-seok would strongly disagree with the arguments of the opposite side, in which case they should have carried out a more thorough operation, and moreover they had no right to accidentally confuse one organ with another. The young man also reminded them about the infection that got into the patient's body as a result of an incorrectly performed operation. It could not get into the body because of the patient's obesity, which the accused party cited as an argument. Chapter 9. One of the representatives of the hospital, against which the meeting is being held, offered the injured party monetary compensation in the amount of 10 million won. Choi Gi-seok was visibly angry at such an outburst on their part and refused to accept this money. A representative of the Ganpo hospital sneered at Choi Gi-seok and threatened them with a lawsuit, to which he agreed because he was sure he was right. Suddenly, a very short man enters the hall, who attracts everyone's attention. This man
said, if you don't get this stuff done, it's a lawsuit. She's like, oh, I'm not so joyful anymore. Wow.
Turned out to be Kal Song-hwa's father and concurrently the best lawyer in medical cases. The girl lawyer on the part of the accused was shocked by the presence of a man and visibly agitated. Choi Gi-seok offers to discuss the issue of the lawsuit again with lawyer Young Jin Myeon, The doctor from the Gankal hospital was sure that he was not a real lawyer, because according to rumors, this person should instill evil and fear, but in fact he looks very pretty. However, the lawyer girl was sure that this was the same famous lawyer, because she studied under his guidance and was familiar with him even before this meeting. The lawyer on the part of the victims was dissatisfied with the agreement, which was initially provided by the other party. He has already faced a similar case and offered to move this case to court. In response to the stubbornness on the part of the accused, the lawyer Jeong Jin threatened to spread about this situation in the media, which could completely destroy the entire career of the Ganpo and Gancheol hospitals. In response, they decided to accept the lawyer's terms and signed another agreement. The direct
Why this bitch a pocket lawyer? It's Polly Pocket Lawyer Edition. Polly Pocket Lawyer
Gancheol hospitals.
Edition.
In response,
Look at him. His little itty bitty song. He's so cute. I want to pick him up and help me with my next case. If I can have a lawyer like that any day of the week, I don't care how much money I'm spending. He's everywhere.
they decided to accept the lawyer's terms and signed another agreement. The director of the shelter was very grateful for the help of Choi Kai-seok and lawyer Young Jin Myung, because she could not cope with this situation on her own. After the meeting, the three of them went to a cafe to discuss further developments. Choi Kai-seok thanked the lawyer for his help, to which he replied that he was happy to take up this case at the request of his daughter, and that it was her who needed to be thanked. Choi Gi-seok thought about it, because really, if it wasn't for Call Song HWA, he would have had a much harder time. The lawyer—
So wait. That's the daddy of that nerd girl we saw in the beginning. Call Song HWA, instead of saying, Sung Hwa. Call Song HWA. Like, they keep calling her that, bro.
thought about it, because really, if it wasn't for Call Song HWA, he would have had a much harder time. The lawyer warned the young man that he could not always help them, and he should cope on his own. And in his opinion, the guy does it perfectly. After this conversation, Gi-seok and the shelter director headed for the exit. The woman tearfully thanked the guy for his help, and told him that at the time it seemed to her that the guy was very similar to the late Hee-jin, which made her even more moved. Gi-seok's help made the woman believe in herself again, in a better future, for which she was grateful to him. The next day, Gi-seok was on his way to the hospital in his father's car to take his exams. The dialogue with his father was very tense. The man openly hinted to his son that he could not afford the profession he had chosen. The guy thanked his father for being worried about him, but he would not give up his profession. They arrived at the Yijin hospital. The young man thought again about his past life. He used to study at the Jinsen hospital, which was a higher status, but he was glad that he had a chance to start his life from a new leaf, despite the difficulties. Choi Gi-seok decides to inspect the hospital before the exam begins. The conditions in the hospital were not as bad as he expected, but the unexpected scream scared the young man. Chapter 10. Gi-seok walks into the office where the screams were coming from and sees two nurses, one of them trying to pull a splinter out of the other girl's hand. Gi-seok kindly decides to help them, and introduces himself as a future residency student at this hospital. With deft movements, the guy takes a splinter out of the girl's hand, and later he is interested in her well-being. After he finds out that the girl has dizziness and a broken heartbeat, he decides to look at her health status, and finds out that she has anaphylactic shock and she urgently needs to be transferred to the intensive care unit. The second nurse, who was nearby, fearfully led her colleague out of the office. Gi-seok tensed up in earnest. If not for his Hippocratic eye skill, he would not have found out about the girl's serious condition. Fortunately, everything went well. After an unexpected situation, the young man went to the office where the exam was being held. Gi-seok was greeted by his classmates Kim Gong-woo and Im Yi-ho. The young man asked them if the chances of failing the exam were high. His classmates told him that this time the exam would not be easy, because it is conducted by the most severe and demanding teacher, very often unfairly gives grades. This teacher was a part-time lecturer in abdominal surgery. Hee-jin didn't know if he should believe the rumors or not. He decided that in any case he must pass the exam well.
Bruh,
The interview—
I wish somebody would come up and look at me and say, you got something wrong with you. Let me just look you up and down. You got this wrong with you, got that wrong with you, and this is why you had this, and go get it done. Do you know how much Medicare and health insurance I would be saving as much as the rest of the world? Oh my gosh, bro. Hospitals wouldn't be needed as much as you would think they do. They wouldn't treat customers like clients, you know what I'm saying? Or, excuse me, patients like customers and customers like clients. You see what I'm saying? Crazy, bro. Crazy.
For interns begins. Hee-jin paid attention to the most strictly teacher and decided to check his status with the help of his newly acquired skill, and he saw that the man almost perfectly possesses his abilities, which could not but admire. Hee-jin also noticed that this doctor's skills were the best he had ever seen. The
Why his eyebrows look like it's like a bird. Like, it just gives me like the grandfather vibe from Tekken. I don't know, that's what I'm thinking.
doctor also had such a passive skill as ignoring weaklings. The essence of this skill is to leave marks on incapable students and doctors, thereby distinguishing them from more capable.
His eyebrows look like Pidgeotto. Like, fuck that.
capable ones. Hee-jin noticed this mark on a woman who was one of the teachers. Hee-jin noticed that there were marks on everyone except one guy sitting next to the doctors. There was also a negative mark on it. It appears in everyone who does not manifest himself. The young man decided that he must definitely show himself from the best sides and get rid of this mark. Students took turns being called to complete the task. The young man sat quietly waiting. Someone coped with the tasks and someone did not. The girl was called out of turn. She was also very worried and confused. The doctor noticed this and made a threatening remark to her. Hee-jin realized that no matter how the girl tried to fix the situation, the reproaches from the doctor would not stop, because she could not cope not only because of excitement, but also because of the doctor's skill of ignoring the weak. The doctor was extremely dissatisfied with the way the girl performed the task, and rudely kicked her out without a credit. It was Gi-seok's turn to complete the task. The young man did not feel anxious, on the contrary. He was happy to hold a medical instrument in his hands again. The doctor who took the exam noticed that the guy deftly copes with the task without any excitement, does it even better than the rest of the students. The doctor began to ask the young man additional questions, to which he immediately answered correctly without hesitation. The knowledge and abilities of the guy so delighted the man that he immediately gave him a credit. Gi-seok's negative status was immediately annulled. Choi Gi-seok recalled his past life in Hee-jin's body. In the past, the internship was hell on earth for him, but the experience and efforts of 3 years of residency still remained with him, and he will try to start all over again, already with his newfound abilities. Chapter 11. Gi-seok is talking to his classmate, part-time roommate. The guy came back from practice and was very nervous about tomorrow, because tomorrow is his first day as an intern, and even he was unlucky to get into the intensive care unit. The young man was very worried, and did not understand how Gi-seok remained calm all the time. Choi Gi-seok was already an intern, but in his former body in a previous life, so he did not experience such strong excitement, unlike his neighbor. The young man tried in every possible way to calm and help his classmate, assures him that it is not as difficult in the intensive care unit as it seems to him. To finally cheer up his neighbor, Gi-seok decides to use his newly acquired support skill. The guy gets much better, his immunity and mood increase. Gi-seok improves the support skill, the mastery of it increases, the skill has increased to the second level. Gi-seok was surprised that his skill has improved dramatically. He hopes that in the future he will be able to improve all his skills. From the very early morning.
So does he help other people besides himself? Or actually, it's literally like looking at a story-rich visual novel. This is what I'm getting the vibe from this with this manhwa. It's down-to-earth kind of vibes of slice of life, but also like positive like slice of life, but you're having it in a video game vibe, where as he talks to people, he gets these different skills. Like, oh, you've been great on your level up skills of love and happiness, you know what I mean, or communication. Something like that. That's what I'm getting from this. So maybe they did, once again, fall for the trope of, like how you guys were saying, like the, kind of like the manhwa, like, gamer trope. Like, it's so sad to see that in these new manhwa. Like, you guys aren't getting creative. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but this trope lately is getting a little burned out, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it's a little annoying.
Gi-seok went to the hospital. After greeting the nurses, he introduced himself as an intern in the operating room of the abdominal surgery department. He was very well received, and the guy was very happy that he would work with nice and good people. The senior nurse seemed to the guy a very charismatic and decent woman, so he will try to make a good impression. When he reached the ward with the patient, Gi-seok saw an elderly woman who grumblingly refused to donate blood. The young man reassured the woman and promised that there was nothing to worry about. In the case of this patient, it is very difficult to take blood from her vein the first time. Therefore, every day she is pricked several times to take tests. For this reason, a woman does not like to take a blood test. Gi-seok was sure.
Why'd I say that twice? Hello? I mean, I would be mad too. Like, if you make me take a freaking blood test every single day and y'all still can't figure it out, I'd be like, nah, y'all need to figure that shit out because I gave you enough blood.
That he could do it the first time, because thanks to the experience from his previous life, he already has the ability. Gi-seok, as promised to his patient, took blood from the first time, for which she was very grateful to the guy, and asked him to only take tests from her in the future. A new notification has appeared that the glory of the past mission has been completed successfully, and the hidden title vampire has also been obtained. The reputation has improved and a new connection has been established with the patient Choi Min-sun. The title of vampire implied an increase.
Fucking got a title name now? Chat, come on now. This is totally like soul leveling.
In the success of taking blood and reducing pain in the patient. Gi-seok decides to check how much his other skills have changed. The reputation increased by 0.5, and the connection with the patient Choi Min-sun reached stage 2 at once. One of the hospital nurses apologized to the guy in distrust of his work. She did not expect that the new intern would be so capable. Choi Gi-seok himself knew that this was due to the skills he had worked on in his previous life, being Hee-jin. One of the hospital nurses who was with Gi-seok went to the duty room to rest. Hospital staff gathered in this room to discuss the work of their new intern. The head nurse believes that Gi-seok allows himself to be clownish and is not nervous at at all. She also mentioned their last intern, Dr. Sun, whom in her opinion no other intern can surpass. After the conversation, the head nurse ordered everyone to get back to work and headed for the exit. Noticing Gisok standing at the reception desk, she asked him why he was not working, and whether he had performed nasogastric intubation on the patient Kwon T1. At the same time, the other nurses still in the break room were discussing how the new intern had successfully taken a blood test from the patient. Chapter 12. The woman looked at the guy in surprise, not immediately believing that he had done all the work so quickly. She was impressed.
I like how there's always one person at work, and this happens in school sometimes too, whether you're young or old. There's always one person that's like, that new person, of course, is gonna not know what they're doing. Bro, protagonist skill, coaching, I'm gonna tell you, I got it done, bitch. I don't know. That always happens no matter where I go, even in real life. Like, I think that's one thing that will never fail. In real life or in video games or movies or shows, there's always one motherfreaking hater that's like, I don't believe you. And it's always someone older. Bro, all the fucking time.
Of the nurses told her colleagues that, according to rumors, she found out that Choi Gi-seok completed his assignment twice as fast as the others during the intern's interview, and also interested Dr. Young Myeon-un himself. Dr. Young Myeon-un entered the office where the meeting was supposed to take place.
His fucking eyebrows, I can't get him. Someone take away this Pidgeotto, Goku, Vegetan looking ass Tekken wannabe man, please. Even his colleague was like, yeah, I can't look at him. I just can't take him seriously. Nope.
Along with other doctors, and greeted Gi-seok, whom he took as an intern to the hospital, the operating room of the Yijin Hospital. Choi Gi-seok, under the guidance...
Though. Look at his eyes. I've been staring at that for a while. I'm not gonna lie. His eyeliner. Teach me, because I need to be on point. Hello? But no, if I saw that boss, like the one with the freaking Pidgeotto eyebrows, I would shave it in his sleep. I'd be like, bro, please be on point. Heihachi eyebrows. Thank you. Like, it's so crazy to me. I'm like, yo, what's with these brows? And I mean, the mustache could stay. I'm used to people having that, but did he want, like, it's like a mermaid tail mustache. I'm like, whatever. But like these eyebrows though, they're looking up here. Like, okay, all right.
Whom he took as an intern to the hospital, the operating room of the Yijin Hospital. Choi Gi-seok, under the guidance of Dr. Young Myeon-un, helps in the operation of a patient with stage 3 stomach cancer. The doctor explained to the young man what they would have to face during the operation and how difficult it would be. A man has type of cancer, after which the survival rate is 5 years higher than that of other stage 3 cancers. Today they need subtotal gastric resection and gastroduodenostomy. Subtotal gastric resection is an operation during which the tumor-affected area is removed, and then the healthy part of the stomach is connected to the duodenum. The doctor noticed how nervous Gi-seok was, as if he would be the one to perform the entire operation. The intern asks the patient questions to be entered into the protocol, and they begin the operation process. To begin with, they administer anesthesia, check the pulse and breathing, and later proceed to gastric resection and gastroduodenostomy. Hee-jin had previously performed only a few simple operations, but only in the field of cardiology. This is the first time he has the opportunity to observe an operation in the gastrointestinal tract so closely. The young man closely watched the actions of the doctor. He had the highest skills in surgery among all the doctors he met. He could definitely learn a lot from him during today's operation. Choi Gi-seok tried to look as closely as possible and concentrate. Dr. Jong Myeon-un performs all actions as accurately and correctly as possible. Suddenly, a notification is displayed in front of the guy's eyes, in which it is written about the emergency condition of the patient. He does not understand at what point something went wrong, and why the patient's condition worsens. The doctor draws the intern's attention to the perforation of the stomach caused by cancer. This is an acute ulcer with perforation, which was not detected during the examination. If they don't solve this problem and just sew up the stomach, then very soon they will have to have a second operation. Choi Gi-seok is distracted from his thoughts by the gruff voice of Dr. Myeon-un. He reproaches one of the interns for not being focused and inattentive. The doctor continues to perform the operation, and
so if you guys don't know what's happening, basically he's watching the doctor do the surgery for the person that's on, the patient. And as he's watching, he's like, oh, I can really learn from this guy. And as he's doing it, he's noticing there's an alert. So something is going wrong with, there's another issue that wasn't addressed previously or through testing or that wasn't discussed. So if they don't hurry up and take care of it and sew up the stomach and be closed with it, they could have a whole nother issue of another surgery to help get rid of that previous issue that wasn't solved, basically.
Gi-seok continued to admire his abilities. A few hours later, the operation is over. Gi-seok is going home, but suddenly a nurse calls him. She asks what he is doing today, to which the guy replies that he has a day off. The girl reminds the guy that he is obliged, even on his day off. He must be ready to come to the operation within 30 minutes after the call. Choi Gi-seok knew about it. It was no problem for him. After a heavy operation, Gi-seok heads to a coffee shop to rest. In his previous
Oh, I
life,
love
he
coffee
practically did
shops.
not allow himself to rest. He always had work as a priority. After buying himself a coffee, the guy thought about it. Thanks to the hawk's eyes skill, Chong Myung-un was able to detect a previously undetected perforation. He suggested that this ability can be used not only in general surgery, but also in any other field. Especially, it will be useful in the field of cardiac surgery, where you need to subtly notice every detail. The Eye of the Hawk is a skill with a maximum level of development up to level 5. Young Myung-un is level 4. It made a strong impression on Gi-seok. He decided that he should also get this skill as soon as possible. Suddenly, Gi-seok got a call. It was one of the interns of the hospital. He called the guy to the hospital for a not particularly urgent matter. Without ignoring the request of his colleague, the guy immediately went to the hospital. Chapter 13. Gi-seok arrived at the hospital because the woman he gave the injection to on the first day in the hospital wanted him as the doctor who
And
would
that's
take
the lady
tests
who had the surgery, by the way, if I'm correct.
from her today. Gi-seok kindly complied with his patient's request and gave her a painless injection into a vein. The young man was about to leave the ward when suddenly the woman asked him to stay a little longer to talk. Because
Aw.
today her children could not visit her. A colleague of the
Aw.
guy persuaded him to refuse and go to rest, but he could not refuse the elderly woman her request. The woman admitted
Aw.
that she really misses her husband very much. No matter how hard Gi-seok tried, he was not given to understand the pain that a woman feels. His job is to cope with physical pain, not
Bro, I don't understand. Okay. Here's what I'll say. If your parents aren't assholes and shits, like, or narcissists to you, like, and they actually care and they've shown you care, even if you're on good footing or not, like, in a moral, safe way, you know what I mean? That's not, like, a reason why to be away from your parents or separate. If they've been nothing but kind to you and you're just being spoiled or, oh, I kind of don't want to visit you, that's a bit immature. You know what I mean? Like, it's just messed up. Like, there have been times I don't get along with my dad, but even when he was, like, not as shitty and we gotten better, like, I just don't understand that. Like, basic respect, bro. Basic respect.
mental. The young man got a call again, and he had to leave the ward. They called from colorectal surgery. They needed to help urgently clean the intestines of an emergency patient, because their intern was performing the operation. Arriving at the hospital, Choi Kai-seok met Dr. Young Myung-un, and decided to approach him to ask about how he discovered the perforation during the operation. He explained to the guy that you can't think about the human body, considering only one part of it. You need to
Why
think
he
big and
looking
take
at
into
him like that? He look at him like, what's in your pants? Sir, eyes up here. Eyes up here, please. I'm sure they are. Beep. Like, look at it. Where is your... What are you looking at his hands for? Does he have a nice manicure? Is there something I'm missing here? I'm just saying.
to account other organs. Choi Gi-seok realized how difficult it was and was once again convinced that he was facing a great specialist. The young man decided, whatever it was, he would try and master this technique. In the evening, the guy began to reflect on the specifics of his skills. Stopping their development is inevitable. But he quickly acquired useful skills to support and demonstrate professionalism. As soon as the guy was called for an emergency operation, he came running and did his best, but he did not notice any special progress in the development of his skills. But soon the practice will end altogether, and what will happen if he still fails to master the skill of the hawk's eyes? The young man was afraid of these thoughts. The guy's phone rang again. This time he got a call from the doctor he had saved a few days ago, and invited him to meet for a cup of coffee somewhere. The young man, without thinking twice, accepted the man's invitation. The very next day, the young man met with a man. Song Bi-hyun thanked the young man again for saving his life, and gave him a gift as a sign of gratitude. He handed him the medicine of folk medicine, which he himself created, collecting in it all the best means for rejuvenation. Choi Gi-seok was extremely delighted, because Song Bi-hyun's skills are at a very high level, and it is guaranteed that his medicine will be effective. Choi Gi-seok apologized for lying that night about being a doctor, but the man did not hold a grudge against him, because he saved his life, even if he had to resort to lies for this.
Okay, so that's where I'll pause it, because it's been 50 minutes of this. Not because I'm tired of it, but because it has been going on for a minute. But now he has to work on his skill to really use his abilities. So it's not bad. Let me just say that. Hold up. Let me just make myself bigger real quick. Hold on. Go up. Go up. Go up. There we go. That's a little bit better for me. Sorry, I've been feeling very warm. Like right now I'm feeling super, super, super warm. I'm not gonna lie with y'all. Hold up. But no, this looks like an interesting manhwa. It really does look like solo leveling brings like... Yeah. Oh my gosh, wait. And you want to see the title of this manhwa? Do you want to see the title? Y'all want to see the title of this? I don't think you're ready for this. I don't think you're ready for this, baby. Let me see. Do you want to see what it's actually called? Because I'm telling you. Do you want to see it? Y'all gonna be surprised as fuck. Hold up. Y'all gonna really judge me. Look at this. Wait, no. Where is it? Look what it's called. Look what it's called. Look what it's called. It's called Dr. Choi Gi-suk Levels Up. Now, everyone kept saying, oh, it's not like solo leveling. Bro, this is what I'm talking about right here. This crap right here. So, if you guys, it's not a bad thing, but I would definitely say if you're looking for a slice of life manhwa, that's literally an AU, like an alternate universe if you don't know what AU is. It's an AU of fucking solo leveling with more life, slice of life, protagonist saving the day. There you go. There you go. There you go. And I know everyone has tropes, but like this trope is a little overkilled for me, honestly. So if you're interested in reading it and knowing about it, you should definitely check out Solo Leveling. Excuse me. Oh my god, I said that by accident. Dr. Choi Gi-suk's Levels Up. You should definitely check it out if that is more up your alley and like just an everyday speed of like learning how to be a protagonist and a hero in an everyday perspective. So that's it for Monday manhwas section. Now, I know this is for the YouTube recording, so if you are watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and hit a thumbs up if you're interested in more explanations or videos of like this manhwa or manga Monday. Please go ahead and hit the thumbs up, and also if you want to see more or you know any that we should check out, put it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video, and we'll see you on the next Monday.